Hello guys, MikuChibi here. Welcome back to another Sword Online into Factor video, and this video will be an update on my mod guide. This is more like a change, a little bit adjustment, because I think the mod guide I made about the mod fodder or the attachment, I think it wasn't the best explaining. So I just want to make a new video talk about just the mod fodder. So I guess this is gonna be like the best attachment for your mod. And you can see here the Google Docs or the Google Excel that I have been writing out, and with the help of logs. Though this is something that I can't really share because it also have some other information, privacy information, so I can't really share the docs, but I made sure that you are able to see what fodder I have. So if you take a look at this, so this gonna help me to explain more about the slots mod fodder, why they are better than the other mod fodder or attachment that you want to use, and why the other is performing better than the other fodders, etc. So I have kind of like this for each weapon, so we're gonna try to explain more for each weapon which fodder is pretty good for your mod skill and which one aren't that best. So you see I have one slot, which is, that means it costs only one slot to put inside your mod. Then we have 2, then 3, and then we have some other explanation, and then we have the trash one. Basically the last one is always the trash fodder that you don't really want to use. They are the ones that perform really bad. So you can see here we are starting with sword. Of course, sword is the basic one. It's a little bit more easier to explain, but as you can see on the first one we have the Ocean Runner Kirito. It has 2 bonus that is really good. One is that it scales with defense, so basically the same as the free Juju or Night and Unleash, but it's 1 time instead of 2. And also have the second additional bonus, which is giving more damage to your slash, which is really good. And if you combine it with one of these 3 mod fodder, the 2 slot one, they actually outperform the free Juju and Night Resolution, because crit on Night Resolution isn't that really good on late game, so you more likely want to put more damage, which why Ocean Run Kirito with any of these fodder, 2 slot fodder, is really good. And then we have also Yuki MR. This one is only good with MR Yuki. If you have it, you can also use Man of the Day if you want to have fun, but definitely not really recommended. So yeah, so the 1 slot Ocean Run Kirito and the 2 slot fodder, they are really good. You only use these 4 here on top, 1 slot, 2 slot, if you have both. If you don't have both, you don't use them. You use something else. Use Night and Alice then if you have it. If you have both, you use both. If you have Ocean Runner and one of these, then you can replace the free Juju with another one. And you can probably run 3 mod sword if you want to, which is possible. And even 4 if you have the Mod Rosario, the mod one. Otherwise, it is only worth to use these both. If you don't have one of these combination, then you don't want to use it. But if you have both of the Azure Juju and Night Resolution Unleash, then it's definitely worth to put on your double mod. That is if you want to run double mod sword. Then if you only have the free Juju one, then you can probably do some flexibility setup, which is where you use elements instead. We have, for example, if you have both the Final Blow, I guess it's called, and Festival Juju, you can put this one inside. Definitely not the strongest, but they somehow works. They will be scaling more into attack instead of defense. So the defense one will be your main damage, while the attack one probably gonna be support. So I won't only recommend if you have multiple mod sword with the cell element. So if you have a dark one and another dark, then you can put together if you want to. Otherwise, Night Resolution with Azure Swordsman Juju is performing better than the flexible one. And the rest are pretty much trash. Next we have Rapier. Same again, we have the, I already explained this, 1 slot, 2 slot, 3 slot. Though I have some parentheses where I want to explain a little bit more. Then we have the flexible, destacking UG, and if you don't have Rapier Connect, this is optional, you don't really need to. Then we have the skills that definitely not really worth it. So the 1 slot is basically the flat attack. They gave you 800 flat attack. We have White Future, Tiny Kipao, Koharu, and Night Routine Asuna. They are really good as one slot fodder if you purely want to do white damage. And then we have the crit fodder, which is also really good, especially Showdown. Showdown, aiming your hard and unhittable Koharu, really good if you are fighting against non-crit resistant bosses. If you do that, they are really amazing. And then we have the Black Shining Flash Asuna, which is 80% crit damage, which is fine. Like a Comet gives you 3% frost damage, which is really good. Definitely perform better than the rest here. And then we have the 2-slot fodder. This is more like element type. Let's say if you have water type, then you can put a little bit heavy and charging in the future. Both of the you can do a really good combination with these. Then you can do a combination with the dark mod if you can. Then the wind separate, I guess, something like that. And then these two here, this is basically a crit based focus. So if you want to crit, you can put maybe a Showdown Yuki with Bride Asuna, which is really good on against non-resistant boss. 3-slot fodder. The only thing that works really good is flower arrangement. This one is really good for every single mod. Then we have the mod itself. These 3 mods here are really good. So if in the future, when they release more mods with 3 bonus, then they might be really good as fodder. Otherwise, for now they are good as mod skill itself as a main damage dealing. Then we have the flexible one. The flexible one is more focused on frostbite. So you can put this on your mod fodder or Growing Happiness Asuna as a mod fodder. Both are really good as mod fodder if you can apply frostbite. Otherwise, you can also use their attack only. Then we have the destacking, the ones that remove a stack defense, which is mostly important in GOG. And they are kind of important for GG, you want to have it. Then if you don't have Rapier Connect, you can use one of these. So if you need to run double mods Rapier then. One of the Rapier, or the weakest one or the fast one, will have the cooldown reduction. So one of these can be really good. And the rest is pretty much really bad, not really necessarily needed. You can probably use them, but I definitely don't like it to use them. Next, we have the Mace. So Mace, we only have the same basic slot, and then if you don't have anything better, and then no. So for the 1 slot, they are really good, very flexible, and if you want to use all 3, you can do that. They will give you 150 damage percent against mark, which is really high. You can do that if you want to. This one, they are also mark dependent. I don't really recommend these 2, but there is some extra if you have some spare. Juju you might don't have because it's pretty rare to get it. I mean, it's limited, you can't get it anymore. Then we have the 3-slot, which is really strong. This one is probably one of the best on so far, but if you combine these 3 1 slot here, they should be performing better than this one. So you can have this one as your second Mace DPS. So these one are used if you want to play DPS Mace, otherwise you don't need this. This is only good if you plan to play DPS Mace. And then if you don't have one of these fodder, you can use the mods itself, the mod skills as a mod fodder if you want to. Otherwise, they are really good as a mod damage dealing. So these one are the ones that you can use if you don't have one of these fodders, because they can be somewhat useful. But it's better if you use one of these as fodder. Otherwise, you can use like Street Dance and Nafi, Prince, Elizabeth, both together. They work pretty well. Otherwise, this one should be performed better, but this one is more like if you don't have any other option, you can use these. Then the rest is pretty bad. Dagger, we have the same, but now we have other option. This more like damage dealing. So these ones, the 1-slot fodder, this is more towards these 3 first. It works mostly for GOG, I would say, or if you can apply all 4 elements really fast. If you can apply elements under 30 seconds, 20 seconds, then they are really good. Otherwise, they can be really bad, but they're really good in GOG, so that's really nice. Solo content, I'm really unsure. I guess you should prefer one of these 2 then. This is water focus and dark focus, I believe, or poison focus. So they can be decent to use. Then the 2-slot fodder, they're really good. This one Japanese Litha. This one is only good if you can do it in party or GG. Really strong, basically like bow, but for dagger instead. Koharo is probably one of the flexible one with silica. So both of these are really flexible, you can use. That's why I put on 2 slots there. Then 3 slots. Argo really rely on having element max stacking element, so you want to have 4 stacks at 99. It will be really good. This one, Layla, in the future you can use as a fodder if you want to, otherwise it is good as mod itself. So for now, this one you should have as a main damage if you have it. And other option, this one is based on damage only. This is based on poison or element damage. Then we have the wind, then some other flexible, and then we have some mod that you can put inside each other. So if you have 2 earth mod dagger, you can put it inside to each other. So they work pretty well. Then this one is more like updated. You don't really want to use this any of this fodder. For axe, axe have some other option really good. This one really good as 1 slot fodder if you have that. If you have that, then you can combine with any of these here. 2 slot fodder is mostly focused on the mod skill itself. We have right now 5 mod skills that can be really flexible to have as a mod fodder itself. So you can use one of these 5s into one of these mod skills here, and they will be performed really good. So all these 5 here is really good and flexible for any axe mod. And then we have Prodigy, Argo, and Fresh Fruit Litha, really good as 2 slot. I prefer though Argo to be solo outside the mod because it is really good at farming mobs. Then the 3 slot fodder, Juju is probably one of the best ones, really strong. And Argo if you can play full HP, that's all. Otherwise Juju is probably mostly prioritized more than Argo. Then other option is more like you put mod inside the mod, and if you have water mod and you don't have that many option, you can also use Asuna, it's fine. And the rest is pretty bad. For spear, we have conditional spear. Spear is probably one of the hardest to build and does require a lot of limited. 1 slot, all of these require to have something. This one required to have a wind buff to be able to activate, then it's really strong. This one required to have a dark buff element, then it becomes strong. Then these 2 require to have bleed, then they become really strong. 2 slot fodder, we have the 100% crit damage. If you can crit, it is really strong. If you can't crit, it will be real weak and fall off really hard. Then we have a flexible mod fodder, which is the mod, the OG mod. I think it's called Resolution Strike something. Really flexible. It gives you 100 attack and 30% damage or attack against bleeding enemy. So it is really good and flexible. Then we have 3 slot fodder. They require to have element buff to be able to use them. They are really strong. If you have one of them, then you want to put it inside one of each. Then we have for GOG, Sarah Lancer, really good in GOG for boss that has attack buff. It can reduce that, remove that, really nice. Then we have 2 destacking. There are 4 destacking. If you don't have 4 rapier or bow, you can use one of these 2. Then we have some other option, of course. We have Priestess Daily Sachi, which is really good for crit based. They have the mod itself. You can use the mod inside the mod if you want to. Oh, I had double. Let's remove that. Otherwise, especially these skills here they are really good, the skill itself, but maybe in the future you can put them inside future mod skill. But for now, they are strong as a mod damage itself, and the rest is pretty much trash. And lastly, we have bow. Let's talk about there's a lot of option here, but let's talk about the first slot. The first slot is really good. If you have all 3, you have one of the strongest mod fodder together, because they give you 300% damage against non-target bosses. If the boss doesn't target you, you will deal 300% extra damage the lower HP you have. The lower, the better. And you have access to the free one, which is really good and is really strong. Then we have the 2 slot fodder. This one gives you 175, I believe. is really good. So you can combine the 1 slot with the 2 slot if you want to. And these are the mod ones. The mod, they are flexible. They give the same bonus as the first slot, but with the additional, will gives you attack for every Kirito skill you have. So if you have at least one Kirito, you will gain firearm attack. Then we have Dawn of Archer or Archer of Dawn. Really good, flexible. If you don't have one of these, you can use these instead. Then the 3 slot fodder, they are really good. This one gives you 250, so you can use double mod bow if you want to. So if you have all 3 and this one, you can run double mod. This one, Nurse Xenon, this one is only if you're aiming to do solo content, then it's really good. Only for Holy though, only Trust Holy solo content with bow. It will be performing really good. Otherwise, the first 3 here, and then the 2 slot and the 3 slot should be performing better than this one. And other option, you can run additional damage or additional attack damage, which is really good. These both. Then we can run if you don't have connect, you can put one inside mod bow, especially this one, Shy Mermaid, if you want to reduce your HP. Otherwise, the other way to reduce your HP. And then we have the mod itself. You can use the mod skills as a mod fodder if you want to. Otherwise, they are strong, the skill itself, except for this one. Please don't use this one. Please don't use this one. Then we have destacking, really good for destacking for GG. And if you're new, you can use one of these if you have access. I would say these 2 you have access. If you don't have any of this mod, you can combine this one, the free one that you complete for 79, and then Silka. They are a good combination for new players or those that want to try to play Suicide Bow. These 2 are good combination. Otherwise, once you get better, you want to replace this as soon as possible. Then we have the ones that is pretty much trash. Yeah. So hopefully this is more better now, more a little bit explaining which fodder is better. And if you're interested what one of these skills are, you can use this site is called Swordline Indigo Factor Feign Data. So you can use this. It has really good information. You can use this. Everyone can have access to this. It has a lot of information, and it doesn't have all the skills. I know that because I have been testing this a lot. So this one has really good information, item author. You can use it. I will link it in the description if you want to use it. Really good information. And if you're looking for any specific skill that you can see, just go to list character. Then you can see it has name. You can use Asuna. It will show almost all Asuna skills. It doesn't have wide future. So yeah, you should try it out. Really good site. So that's me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care now, and bye bye.